Damon here from NLP Gym. I just got back from San Diego. It was an 8-hour drive, and all I can say is it's up to you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you like this video, please click like down at the bottom there. Feel free to leave comments. I love getting comments, and especially questions, and responding to those. On my way back, it was an 8-hour drive from San Diego to Santa Cruz, and I got to reflect a lot on this past week at Trance Camp with Steve Gilligan. It was really a life-changing week, and I wish I had signed up for the other 2 weeks. I'll have to go back next year. While I was reflecting on my way back, I had 8 hours to do that, and it was very meditative because when you're driving on the Interstate 5, there's just a long, several miles of just nothing. And it's a good time to kind of meditate and reflect. And I had such a sense of gratitude and such a sense of joy that suddenly overcame me, that it actually brought tears to my eyes. It was so intense, and I didn't even know that I could feel that joy on that level. At the same time, I knew better than to try to cling to it and try to make it last forever, because it was so intense. Feelings that intense don't last. They go. And the same for suffering, and the same for pain and sadness, and those things too. They pass as well, at least when they're intense. So I just knew better than to try to cling to it, and so I let it pass. But in that joy, what I realized was, in that joy was all the suffering that I've ever experienced. Realizing that in the joy there has to be an understanding of suffering there, and the more intense the joy, the more intense you allow that suffering to be there. But it doesn't feel like suffering when you see it that way. Life, well, I'd say the biggest lesson that I've learned over this past week, and I could give numerous examples of this, and even one really big one, but it's actually a little too personal for me to talk about right now. Maybe I will in the future. But what I learned was that life really gives you what you ask for. And I've heard that before, and it's one of those things that I would kind of in the past would go, oh yeah, that sounds really nice, but take a moment to let that settle in, because, and just trust me on this, that is absolutely true. Life gives you what you ask for. And a lot of times we're not even conscious of this, but if you're willing to go deep, and one of the ways you can go deep is through trance. Trance is an amazing way to go deep into yourself and really discover what is it you're really asking for from life. If you're asking for safety and security, you're going to get only so much of that, because only so much of that exists in the world. There's so much that you don't have control over. You don't control people, you don't control the weather, you don't control certain things. So that may seem contradictory, that when I say life gives you what you ask for, but yet you don't have control over certain things. It is a bit of a paradox. And it is very likely that the things you ask for are showing up in ways that maybe you don't recognize, because you have you're very conscious of how you want it to look like, or you want it to sound like, or to feel like, and it might be showing up in a different way. But try that on, and that is what total responsibility is. Total responsibility is taking even the shittiest times in your life and saying to yourself, somehow, some way, I asked for this. And when you do that, see what happens. I don't want to say too much more about it. It's better for you to experience it. But see if that feeling, what happens to that feeling when you do that, when you really take responsibility for everything in your life, the condition of your life. Just take a moment and do that. Observe the condition of your life and realize that that is what you asked for. The really cool thing is, you can always change it. You can always ask for something different. And especially when you realize what it is you're asking for by looking at your life and then realizing I'm responsible for this and I can change it. I can ask for something different and I can live that. And when you really take that on, you will really fucking live. And that's about all I should say about that. It's definitely every person's own experience, and I don't want to try to tell you what your experience will be. So I can only speak for myself. As always, check out our website, nlp-gym.com, for new updates, new trainings that we have coming up. And follow us on Facebook. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Take care.